Hi guys, today we're going to talk about solutions to systems of equations graphically. We've done it before, but we're going to extend our learning a little bit today. So in number 1, it says state the solution to the system of equations graphed below. You should remember that a solution is a point of intersection. So the answer for number 1 as a point would be 1, 5. If I didn't actually want the solution, like in question 2, I could also be asked to determine the total number of solutions. The total number of solutions in the first graph is 2, and the second graph, you should agree that that is 4. Let's take a look at the problem below where we're at right now. It says state the solutions to the equation h of x equals k of x rounded to the nearest hundredth. Now those two graphs are crazy, and we haven't worked with functions like that for solutions. One has a cubed power and one's an absolute value. The way we're going to work on this is using our calculator for assistance. So please take your calculators out. We're going to put h of x in y1 and k of x in y2. Since they want to know where h of x is equal to k of x. So in y1, I'm going to do alpha y equals, make that a fraction, to input 2/9 x to the third power. Continue plugging the rest of the equation in. Alpha y equals gets you your fractions. All right, now I'm going to put in y2. I've got negative, which is next to the decimal, absolute value, math, number, ABS. Again, math, click to the right to get number, and then ABS. 0.7x goes inside the absolute value brackets, and plus 5 goes on the outside. So now if I keep those in my calculator and y equals, I'm going to graph the two equations and see if I can interpret their points of intersection. Interesting. So if I look at these graphs right here, there's the graph of y1 and y2. How many solutions am I going to have? 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to state all of those solutions to the nearest hundredth. If I go to the calculator can do it for me. There's no factoring involved here. We are going to push second trace, which is on the top of the calculator, the fourth button from the left. Which one of those do you think you should choose to find a point of intersection? Should have chosen 5, intersect. And now we can move that blinking point that's on the y-axis right now by using the left and the right arrows. So what I'm going to do is use my left arrow to move that point all the way to the left so I can figure out this point of intersection here. When you bring your blinker to where you think the point of intersection is, the bottom left of your screen Take a look at my calculator where I'm pointing this arrow at. It says first curve. Click enter. That means that you're on your blue curve. When you click enter, it changes to second curve. Click enter again because now you're telling me that the blue curve and the red curve are located in the same spot. And then when it says guess, well, I still think that's the point of intersection, so click enter. So for me, this point of intersection occurs at negative 5.17, comma 1.38, because they asked me to round to the nearest hundredth. But we said there are 3 points of intersection, so we're going to repeat the process 2 more times. Second, trace, intersection. Use your right arrow to bring the blinker to the second point of intersection where the blue and red graphs cross. First curve, push enter. Second curve, the red curve exists there, push enter. And then it says guess. Push enter 1 more time. Finally, your graph changes to intersection. So the intersection here would be negative 1.13, comma 4.21. Again, because they told me to round to the nearest hundredth. And there is 1 more point of intersection. Second, trace, 5 for intersection. Use your right arrow to swing the blinker over to the last place where the graphs cross. First curve is blue, click enter. Second curve is red, click enter. And I'm going to guess that the point of intersection is where the blinker is. So, if I bring that over to the smartboard, you can see that my last point of intersection is 1.75, comma 3.77. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit for you. So my 3 points of intersection are negative 5.17, comma 1.38, negative 1.13, comma 4.21, and 1.75, comma 3.77. Those are your 3 points of intersection. You're not always going to have 3 points of intersection. You might just have 1. You might have none. But you always use the calculator to give yourself a rough idea of how many you'll see by looking at the graph. So if we wrote our steps down, step 1 would be to put the first equation in y1. Step 2 would be to put the second equation in y2. Step 3 would be to graph both equations. And I highly recommend you do a little sketch on your paper. And step 4 would be to find the points of intersection. And the way we did that was second, trace, choice 5, where we use the left and right arrows to choose the points of intersection. Finish copying that, and we'll do one more example together. right, take a look at number 5. Number 5 says to the nearest tenth, the value of x that satisfies this equation is, well, let's do what we did before. In y1, we will type 2 to the x. 2 caret x. And in y2, we'll type our other equation, negative 2x plus 11. So this is what my calculator looks like. And again, I'm putting each side in a different y function in the calculator so I can choose the point of intersection because I'm looking for where they're equal. So now I'm going to just look at the graph. There's my exponential function and my line. And you should do a quick little sketch on your papers. How many points of intersection are there? You should have said 1. There's only one place where those two graphs cross. Now let's actually figure out what the points of intersection is. So in your calculator, second, trace 5. Use the left or right arrows to get your blinker onto the point of intersection. And now it says first curve, push enter. That means you have one curve. Second curve, push enter again. That means there's a second graph there. And then it says guess. So guess what the point of intersection is. The point of intersection, in this case, would be 2.557193, comma 5.88564141. And since the question only says they want the value of x to the nearest tenth, your answer is choice 2. All right, you guys are just going to finish the rest of the problems. You're basically typing them in y1 and y2 and finding the solution by doing second trace 5. The last two problems are word problems. You've done one of them before. That should have looked familiar from your exponents unit. And if you have any other questions with that, we will answer those when we come back to class. Please finish the worksheet for homework.